Sorter's disease. The people who work in the wool industry and doing the job of sorting the fleece of sheep into the fibers of different qualities are called sorters. The job of sorters is very risky because sometimes they get infected by the bacteria called Bacillus anthracis, which cause a deadly blood disease called Sorter's disease. This is called the occupational disease because the person catches this disease while working in the industry. Let's look the second natural animal fiber, silk. It is a very common fabric which is used by us in our day-to-day life. So when I talk about silk, the first thing that strikes to our mind is silk saris or silk dresses. When you went to silk sari shop, you can find the different varieties of silk like tussar silk, muga silk, banarsi silk. Even though they all are silk, they varied in the quality as well as in the price also. In this section, we are going to learn about how and from where we get the silk fiber. So silk is a fine, soft, strong and shining fiber that obtained from the silkworms. It is separated from the cocoons of silkworms and it is made up of the protein. Silk is the strongest natural fiber. Since silk is an animal protein, it gives the smell of burning hair when burnt. It is a costly fiber because of its natural shining appearance. Silk fibers are converted into silk yarn, which is used for making silk cloth. Silk producing countries are India, Japan and China. China leads the world in silk production. Let us study the life cycle of a silk moth. The female silk moth lays many tiny eggs. It is of pale yellow color on the leaves of a mulberry tree. A tiny black caterpillar that hatches out of its egg. It may take about 2 weeks to form the larva, which is also called the caterpillars or the silkworms. These silkworms feed on the mulberry trees and grow bigger in size. During the larval stage, the silkworms shed their skin 4 times while they grow. Now the silkworm is ready to enter into the next stage of its development called the pupa. Each silkworm begins spinning a cocoon around its head, moving its head in the pattern of figure 8. During this movement of the head, the silkworm secretes the silk in liquid form through the tiny opening in its head. Liquid silk is coated in sericin, which is a water-soluble protective gum which solidifies when it comes in contact with the air and becomes a silk fiber. Within the 2 days, the silkworms cover itself completely with the silk fibers. The silky covering spun by the silkworm for its protection is called the cocoon. The cocoon is made by the silkworm to protect its development as a pupa. When the pupa develops fully to form and converted into an adult silk moth, then the cocoon splits up and a beautiful silk moth comes out. Adult silk moth lays only for few days. Rearing of silkworms. Just like the rearing of sheep, here also there is a rearing of silkworm is done. For obtaining the silk moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining the silk is called sericulture. Rearing of silkworms means to look after the silkworm by providing them the proper food and shelter. Let's see the steps of processing of the silk fiber. So the first step is, in a silk farm, female silk moths are kept separated in linen bags which are disinfected. Each female silk moth lays about 200 to 500 eggs at a time. Then after these eggs are kept in a perforated boxes on the bamboo trays under hygienic condition by providing suitable temperature and humidity. The eggs are then warmed to a suitable temperature in an incubator, which is an electrically warmed chamber for the larvae to hatch from the eggs. Now the perforated sheet of paper is placed over the hatching tray and mulberry leaves spread on the sheet of the paper. Once the larvae hatch from the eggs, they start feeding on mulberry leaves and increase in their size. After 25 to 30 days, the silkworms stop eating and they transfer or move to a other chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin the cocoons. Small racks are provided in the trays to which the cocoon get attached. A silkworm completes its cocoon, which is about 4 cm long, by producing about 600 to 1200 meter of thin silk fiber in 5 days. During this period of spinning its cocoon, a silkworm is transformed into pupa. Now, from cocoon to silk. In that, the first we have to do the boiling. The cocoons are first boiled in hot water or treated in the ovens to kill the larvae inside. As you can see in the image, if the larvae are not killed and allowed to grow, they will break the cocoon, thereby reducing the length of the silk fiber. The hot water softens the silk gum sericin so as to allow the unwinding of the silk fiber as one of the continuous thread. Reeling. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in the special machines which unwind the thread of silk from the cocoon. The fibers of the cocoon are too fine and delicate to handle, so many of them are reeled together to yield a stronger thread called raw silk. The damaged cocoons are used to produce an inferior quality of silk called spun silk. Throwing. The raw silk is twisted to produce thrown silk. The process is called throwing. This prevents the silk from splitting into individual fibers. Last step is dyeing. Thrown silk is then dyed for making colored fabrics. The dyed silk fibers are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. I just summarized the whole process of obtaining silk from the silk moth. It starts from the silk moth. Female silk moth is in the silk farm. They lay eggs. That eggs is going to be transferred into the tray, and that tray should be kept on the bamboo sheets. That sheet is going to be transferred into the incubator, where the egg is going to be hatched and the larva will come out from that. That larva will feed on the mulberry leaves and they start forming the cocoons around it. Now when these cocoons are formed, that cocoons is going to be transferred into the boiling water or in the oven, so the larva inside the cocoon will die. After the boiling, there is a reeling of the silk thread. Now we will get the raw silk. It will go for the process of throwing. Thrown silk is gone for the dyeing process. Once the thrown silk is dyed, the silk is going for the process of weaving, and ultimately the silk cloth is made. Thank you.